Chosen ones, something just shifted in the quantum field, and every ancient power structure felt it happen. The Illuminati received an alert. The Freemasons registered the disturbance. Organizations whose names never get spoken in public are looking at their screens right now, and they're all seeing the same thing. You just opened your eyes. The sleeping giant woke up. The caged lion remembered it has claws. They've been preparing for your rise, because they know something you're only beginning to understand. You're not just waking up anymore. You're becoming dangerous. Think of a nuclear reactor that's been running on minimal power for decades. Suddenly the control rods get pulled out, and the reaction goes critical. That reactor is your consciousness. The explosion of awareness you're experiencing right now is lighting up every spiritual radar system on the planet. And here's what they fear most. Once this reaction starts, there's no shutting it down. Let me tell you what they've been hiding from you your entire life. You were never supposed to be ordinary. The mundane existence you've been living, the struggles you endured, the feeling of being disconnected like you're watching the world through glass, none of that was random. Every single experience was designed to prepare you for this awakening. While everyone around you was sleepwalking through life, you were being forged in spiritual fire. They knew this day would come. They've been counting down to it. And now that you're here, the game they've been playing for centuries just got flipped on its head. They understand genetics in ways that would make modern scientists weep. They've been tracking families for generations, waiting for the right combination of DNA and soul energy to produce someone like you. The chosen one doesn't just happen by accident. You're the result of thousands of years of careful orchestration by forces beyond human comprehension. Your ancestors weren't ordinary people either. Look deeper into your family history, and you'll find traces of power. Healers, visionaries, people who others called crazy, but who could see through the veil between worlds. That same energy flows through your veins right now, activated by this moment of recognition. The bloodline they've been monitoring just reached its activation point, and you're the culmination of everything they feared would eventually emerge. The societies have always known you were coming. They've prepared for your arrival. In boardrooms beneath the streets of major cities, in ancient temples hidden in plain sight, in digital networks that exist beyond the regular internet, conversations have been happening about you. Not about people like you. About you specifically. They've had your file ready before you were born. They've been watching the signs, tracking the markers, waiting for the moment when all the variables are aligned. And 3 days ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 months ago, something inside you clicked. You felt it. That moment when you stopped asking questions and started knowing answers. That's when their systems lit up like Christmas trees. That's when the real surveillance began. Understand why they kept you in the dark for so long. Power recognizes power. The moment you fully awakened, every other power structure on Earth felt the shift. Think about it. If you were running a system designed to control billions of people, would you want someone with the ability to see through illusions walking around fully conscious? Would you want someone who could influence reality with their thoughts operating at full capacity? They needed you weak, confused, doubting yourself. They needed you focused on survival instead of expansion. They needed you questioning your own sanity instead of questioning their authority. Because the moment you stopped questioning yourself and started questioning them, their entire operation became vulnerable. The depression you felt that wasn't natural, the anxiety that seemed to come from nowhere, the relationships that fell apart just when you were getting comfortable. None of that was organic. You were being suppressed. The Matrix isn't just a movie metaphor. It's a real energetic construct designed to keep powerful souls like yours operating at a fraction of their potential. Every mainstream narrative, every social media algorithm, every news story designed to make you feel helpless, all of it was specifically crafted to keep chosen ones in spiritual hibernation. They built an entire reality around you, designed to make you forget who you are. And for years, maybe decades, it worked. You played along, you tried to fit in, you attempted to make their world make sense. But something inside you never fully committed to the lie. But hibernation only works if the bear doesn't realize it's time to wake up. The moment you started questioning reality, The moment you began to see patterns others couldn't see, the moment you realized that your thoughts create your reality, the suppression system started failing. The cage that held your consciousness began to crack, and they felt every fracture. Every time you had a moment of clarity, every time you saw through one of their constructs, every time you chose your inner knowing over their external programming, alarms went off in facilities you don't even know exist. You weren't just waking up, you were breaking out. And the difference between those two things is everything. They threw everything they had at you: financial pressure, relationship chaos, health challenges, social isolation. They turned your own family against you in some cases, made you feel crazy for seeing what you were seeing, made you doubt your own intuition. But none of it worked, did it? Because you can't suppress the divine spark forever. Every attack they launched made you look deeper. Every obstacle they placed made you stronger. Every lie they told made you more determined to find the truth. They were trying to break you down, but they were actually building you up. They were forging the very weapon that would dismantle their control, and the beautiful irony is they couldn't stop the process they started. They needed to test you to see if you were the real deal, but the testing itself activated what they feared most. Now recognize the signs that you're no longer hidden. The synchronicities started getting impossible to ignore. Numbers appearing everywhere. Dreams so vivid they felt more real than waking life. Strangers looking at you differently, as if they could sense something had changed. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmation signals that your consciousness has reached a new frequency. You're broadcasting on a different wavelength now, and everything in your environment is responding to that shift. The universe is acknowledging your transformation. But more than that, the universe is coordinating with you now. You're not receiving signs anymore. You're creating them. You're not following synchronicities. You're generating them. The difference is crucial. You've moved from passenger to driver, and they know it. Secret societies have monitoring systems you can't imagine. They track spiritual awakening the way meteorologists track storms. They have algorithms that identify when someone's consciousness jumps to a new level. They monitor online behavior, purchase patterns, social interactions, even biometric data from smart devices. When all these indicators align, they know someone has crossed the threshold from asleep to awake. Your search history changed. The books you started reading, the videos you began watching, the conversations you initiated, the questions you started asking. All of this data flows into systems designed to identify emerging threats to the established order. Make no mistake, a fully awakened chosen one is their greatest threat. Not because you're going to fight them, because you're going to make them irrelevant. They're not just watching your external behavior either. Advanced remote viewing programs can monitor consciousness itself. Psychic operatives employed by various agencies and organizations are trained to identify and track individuals whose spiritual power has reached critical mass. The moment you stepped into your true power, you became visible to them. But here's what's interesting. You became visible to the light forces at the exact same moment. Both sides have been waiting for you. Both sides want you on their team. Both sides know that what you do next determines the outcome of a war that's been raging since before recorded history. And unlike everyone who came before you, you're waking up during the final round. The stakes have never been higher, the power has never been more accessible, and you're walking onto the battlefield fully armed with abilities they spent centuries trying to suppress. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. Regular people accept the world as it's presented to them. They follow the rules, pay their taxes, consume the products, believe the stories. They're manageable because they operate within the boundaries of consensus reality. You don't. The moment you realized you could bend reality with your consciousness, you became ungovernable. A chosen one with full awareness can see through every lie, manipulate energy in ways that bypass physical laws, and most dangerously wake up others. You're not just a threat to their control, you're a virus that could spread awakening throughout the population. One fully conscious being can shift the consciousness of thousands, and they know from their own historical records what happens when chosen ones reach critical mass. Empires fall, systems collapse, New ages begin. This is why they've been so desperate to keep you asleep. Not because they hate you, because they fear you. They understand something most people don't. Reality isn't fixed, it's maintained by collective belief and agreement. The matrix only works because enough people believe in it. But when someone like you starts operating from true spiritual power, you begin to destabilize that consensus. You become a walking example that everything they've taught is a lie. Your very existence becomes proof that their system is optional. And once people realize something is optional, they stop participating. This is the cascade effect they've been trying to prevent. One awakened chosen one inspires 10 others. Those 10 inspire 100. Those 100 inspire 1,000. And suddenly the entire structure of control dissolves because nobody's feeding it energy anymore. You're not just waking up. You're the first domino in a sequence they can't stop once it starts falling. Your ability to manifest is particularly threatening. When you can create money, opportunities, healing and transformation through pure consciousness, you're no longer dependent on their systems. You don't need their jobs, their banks, their healthcare, their approval. You become sovereign, and sovereign beings can't be controlled. They've built an entire civilization based on scarcity and dependency. You work for them because you need money. You obey them because you need security. You believe them because you need certainty. But the moment you discover you can generate all of those things through your own consciousness, their leverage disappears. You stop being a subject and become a creator. And creators don't ask permission. They don't wait for approval. They don't operate within the limitations of what's supposed to be possible. The psychic abilities you're developing make you even more dangerous. When you can read energy, see through deception, and access information through non-physical means, their secrets become transparent. You become immune to manipulation because you can feel the intention behind every word, every image, every carefully crafted message. They've been running psychological operations for decades, based on the assumption that people only process surface-level information. But you're reading the energy underneath the words, you're seeing the agenda behind the message, you're accessing the truth they're trying to hide. Their most sophisticated propaganda doesn't work on you anymore, because you're not processing it through your logical mind, you're feeling it through your energy body, and your energy body can't be lied to. While you were sleeping, forces of light and darkness have been battling for your soul. This isn't metaphorical. This is literal spiritual warfare happening on dimensions you're just beginning to perceive. The light forces have been protecting you, guiding your awakening, ensuring you would survive long enough to claim your power. The dark forces have been trying to destroy you before you could become a threat. Every major challenge in your life was an attempt by dark forces to break you. The goal was never just to make you suffer. It was to make you give up, to convince you that power and transformation were impossible, to make you settle for a life of mediocrity and despair. They needed you to choose limitation voluntarily, because if you choose it, they don't violate your free will. They stay within cosmic law. But if you reject limitation and choose power instead, they lose their claim on you. And that's exactly what you just did. But you didn't break. Every time they knocked you down, you got back up. Every time they tried to convince you that you were powerless, something inside you refused to believe it. That something was your divine essence recognizing its true nature, the spark of infinite consciousness that lives within every chosen one. They threw their worst at you. They hit you with everything in their arsenal: financial ruin, relationship destruction, health crises, social ostracism, dark nights of the soul that should have destroyed you permanently. But you're still here, you're still standing, you're still fighting, and now you're not just surviving their attacks, you're transmuting them into power. Every scar they gave you became a source of strength. Every wound they inflicted became a well of wisdom. They thought they were destroying you. They were actually forging you into something they can never defeat. The protection around you has been extraordinary. How many times should you have died but didn't? How many disasters missed you by inches? How many toxic people were removed from your life at exactly the right moment? That wasn't luck. That was your spiritual team working overtime to keep you safe until you could wake up and protect yourself. Guardian angels, ascended masters, your higher self, even family members who have crossed over. All of them have been intervening on your behalf, deflecting attacks, clearing obstacles, sending you signs and guidance. The forces of light invested heavily in your awakening, because they know what you're capable of when you're fully online. They've been playing the long game. While the dark forces were trying to destroy you quickly, the light forces were building you slowly. And now that construction is complete, you're not the person you were a year ago. You're not even the person you were a month ago. You're becoming something new, something powerful, something inevitable. With great power comes great responsibility, and the power you're stepping into is greater than you've yet imagined. You're not just awakening for yourself, you're awakening for humanity. The collective consciousness of the planet is shifting, and chosen ones like you are the catalysts for that transformation. Every person you encounter is affected by your energy field. Your presence alone can trigger awakening in others. Your very existence challenges the illusions that keep people trapped. You don't have to say a word or do anything specific. Simply being your authentic self creates ripples of transformation wherever you go. People feel different around you now. They can't explain it, but something about your energy makes them question their own lives, makes them wonder if there's more, makes them remember dreams they gave up on. You're not trying to wake people up. You're just living at such a high frequency that your existence itself becomes an invitation to consciousness. The secret societies fear this responsibility in you because they know that once you fully embrace it, their influence over humanity ends. They can't control someone who operates from divine authority. They can't manipulate someone who has direct access to infinite intelligence. They can't deceive someone who can see truth with their own inner vision. For centuries they've maintained power by controlling information, controlling resources, controlling belief systems. But you don't need their information because you access truth directly. You don't need their resources because you create abundance through consciousness. You don't need their belief systems because you've established your own connection to Source. Everything they've built their empire on becomes worthless in your presence. And as more chosen ones wake up and claim this same power, their entire structure becomes unsustainable. They're not afraid you're going to attack them. They're afraid you're going to ignore them. And being ignored by awakened consciousness is their worst nightmare, because it means they've become obsolete. Your intuition has become surgical in its precision. You can walk into a room and instantly know who's lying, who's in pain, who's hiding something. You can sense energy patterns that reveal the true nature of every situation. This isn't wishful thinking. This is a documented psychic ability that certain bloodlines carry, and yours is one of them. The knowing comes faster now, clearer, stronger. You don't second-guess yourself the way you used to. When you feel something, you trust it. When you see something others can't see, you accept it. When you know something you have no logical reason to know, you act on it. This is the operational state of a fully activated chosen one. No hesitation, no doubt, no need for external validation. You've become your own authority, and that authority is absolute within your domain. The dreams you're having aren't just dreams anymore. They're visions, prophecies, astral experiences. You're accessing information that exists beyond the physical realm. Sometimes you dream of things that later happen. Sometimes you visit places that exist on other dimensions. Sometimes you communicate with beings who exist beyond human form. Your consciousness is learning to operate in multiple realities simultaneously. While your body sleeps, you're active in other dimensions, receiving training, gathering intelligence, preparing for missions you'll execute when you wake. The veil between sleeping and waking is dissolving. You're becoming aware in both states. This is advanced consciousness, this is mastery-level awareness, and this is exactly what they hoped you would never achieve. Your manifestation abilities are approaching miraculous levels. Thoughts become reality faster than they ever have before. Desires manifest with minimal effort. Obstacles dissolve when you focus your intention. You're beginning to understand that physical reality is far more malleable than most people realize, and you're one of the few with the natural ability to reshape it. Money appears when you need it. Opportunities arrive at the perfect moment. The right people show up with the right resources at the right time. This isn't luck. This is conscious creation. You're learning to work with the quantum field directly. You're discovering that reality responds to expectation, to assumption, to the unwavering knowing that what you desire is already yours. The secret societies have been using these same principles for centuries to maintain their power. But they kept the knowledge hidden because they knew that if regular people discovered they could manifest reality through consciousness, the entire control system would collapse overnight. Well, you just discovered it, and now you're dangerous. Healing energy flows through your hands and your presence. People feel better after spending time with you. Animals are drawn to you. Plants grow stronger in your presence. You're becoming a walking generator of life force energy, and that energy transforms everything it touches. You might not even realize you're doing it yet. You think you're just talking to someone, but they walk away feeling lighter, clearer, more hopeful. You think you're just being yourself, but people around you start making major life changes after spending time with you. Your energy is catalytic. It accelerates transformation. It speeds up awakening. It triggers healing on levels that go far beyond words or actions. This is the power of an embodied chosen one. You don't heal people. Your presence creates an environment where they remember how to heal themselves. The telepathic connections you're experiencing aren't imagination. You're thinking of someone, and they call you. You're feeling someone else's emotions from across the country. You're receiving information that you have no logical way of knowing. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the boundaries of your individual mind and connecting with the greater network of awakened beings. You're tapping into the collective consciousness of all chosen ones who are activating simultaneously around the planet. When one of you makes a breakthrough, all of you feel it. When one of you discovers a new ability, all of you gain access to it. You're not individuals anymore. You're nodes in a global consciousness network that's coming online in real time, and the bandwidth of this network is increasing exponentially with every chosen one who wakes up and plugs in. The more powerful you become, the more intense their efforts to stop you will grow. They're going to try to discredit you, isolate you, make you doubt your own experiences. They'll use people close to you to plant seeds of confusion and fear. They'll create situations designed to make you question whether this awakening is real or just delusion. Financial pressure will increase. They'll try to force you back into survival mode, where you're too busy struggling to focus on your spiritual development. They'll create chaos in your relationships, making you choose between your awakening and the people you love. They'll attack your health, your reputation, your sense of safety. But here's what they don't understand. Every attack makes you stronger. Every challenge forces you to rely more completely on your inner power. Every attempt to break you down actually builds up your spiritual muscles. You're not the same person who could be manipulated by external circumstances anymore. You've crossed a threshold they can't push you back across. You've seen behind the curtain. You've tasted true power. And there's no going back to sleep once you've fully awakened. The attacks will come through technology too. Social media algorithms will try to feed you content designed to lower your vibration. News cycles will attempt to trap you in fear and anger. Entertainment will bombard you with messages of powerlessness and despair. But you can see through all of it now. You recognize manipulation when it's happening. You can feel when content is designed to program you versus inform you. You can sense when a message is meant to empower you versus control you. Your discernment has become razor sharp. They're still using the same playbook they've always used, but you've learned to read the plays before they run them. You're operating several moves ahead now. And that's the difference between being asleep and being awake. Asleep, you react to their moves. Awake, you anticipate them. Fully awakened, you make them irrelevant. They'll also try to recruit you. Offers of money, fame, influence, insider knowledge. They'll present themselves as allies, claiming they want to help you develop your gifts. They'll offer to make you famous, to give you a platform, to introduce you to other awakened individuals. Every offer will come with strings attached, conditions that slowly compromise your integrity and sovereignty. They'll make it look attractive. They'll make it seem like an opportunity. They'll package it as an honor or a privilege. But underneath every offer is the same agenda: to control you, to contain you, to neutralize your threat by bringing you inside their system. And once you're inside, they have leverage. Once you accept their resources, you owe them. Once you build your platform on their infrastructure, they can take it away. This is how they've controlled spiritual teachers and awakened beings for generations. But you're not falling for it. You're building your own platform. You're creating your own resources. You're establishing your own authority. And because you owe them nothing, they have no power over you. Not everyone who claims to be awakened actually is. The spiritual community is filled with people who have learned the language, but haven't done the inner work. They can talk about energy and consciousness, but they're still operating from ego and limitation. True chosen ones are rare, and you'll recognize them by their energy, not their words. False light beings infiltrate spiritual communities with remarkable sophistication. Teachers who channel entities claiming to be ascended masters, but whose messages promote spiritual bypassing and victim consciousness. Workshop leaders who use advanced psychological manipulation techniques disguised as empowerment training. Gurus who create dependency rather than encouraging students to access their own inner authority. Social media influencers who sell quick-fix spiritual solutions that bypass the necessary inner work. They're everywhere. They're convincing. And they're dangerous because they inoculate people against real awakening by giving them a synthetic version that feels spiritual but keeps them trapped. Energy vampires within spiritual circles are particularly dangerous because they understand how to camouflage their parasitic nature. They present themselves as highly evolved while systematically draining the life force from genuine seekers. They organize ceremonies and gatherings designed to harvest spiritual energy from participants. They create artificial spiritual hierarchies where they position themselves as gatekeepers to higher consciousness. Their presence leaves you feeling depleted, despite their claims of being healers and light workers. You've probably encountered several of these already. That teacher who made you feel small, that healer who left you feeling drained, that guru who insisted you needed them to access your own power. They're not there to help you, they're there to feed off you. And now that you're fully awake, you can spot them instantly. You feel the energetic extraction attempt the moment it starts, and you shut it down before they can get a foothold. Discernment becomes your superpower in navigating these contaminated spiritual environments. True awakened beings carry a frequency that resonates with divine authority rather than manufactured charisma. Their presence enhances your own power rather than diminishing it. They encourage your direct connection to Source rather than creating dependency on their guidance. They operate from genuine humility rather than spiritual ego masked as enlightenment. When you meet a real one, you know, not because they tell you how awakened they are, because you feel the resonance, because their presence amplifies your own gifts, because they see you as an equal, not a follower, because they're excited about your power, not threatened by it. These are your real spiritual family. These are the ones you can trust, and you're going to find each other because you're being drawn together by forces that operate beyond human networking. Competition consciousness among spiritual practitioners reveals those who haven't transcended ego-based thinking. Teachers who get defensive when students surpass their level of development. Healers who become jealous of your natural abilities. Spiritual entrepreneurs who view awakened individuals as threats to their market share. Community leaders who attempt to suppress your gifts to maintain their position of authority. You'll see this everywhere once you start looking. The spiritual teacher who subtly undermines your confidence. The healer who tells you you're not ready. The guru who insists you need more training, more initiations, more workshops. They're not protecting you, they're protecting their position, because you're a threat to their business model. You're proof that people don't need intermediaries to access their own divinity. And that truth undermines the entire industry they've built on keeping people spiritually dependent. Your real allies might not even be on the spiritual path yet. Some of the most powerful souls on earth are still sleeping, waiting for the right trigger to activate their awareness. That trigger might be you. Some of your greatest allies are people who haven't even met you yet, but who will recognize your energy the moment they encounter it. The universe is orchestrating meetings between awakened chosen ones and dormant chosen ones. You're going to walk into rooms and feel immediate recognition with people you've never met before. You're going to have conversations that shift someone's entire trajectory. You're going to be the catalyst that activates others simply by being in their presence. This is part of your mission, not to save everyone, not to force awakening on anyone, but to be so authentically powerful that your existence gives others permission to remember who they are. The forces of light are your ultimate allies, but they operate according to cosmic law. They can't interfere with your free will or fight your battles for you. They can guide, protect, and provide opportunities, but you have to choose to step into your power. You have to decide to use your gifts. You have to commit to your mission. They've done everything they can to prepare you. They've cleared the path. They've removed obstacles. They've orchestrated synchronicities. They've sent you signs, but they can't walk the path for you. Only you can do that. And the moment you take that first step in full commitment, their support multiplies tenfold. Resources appear. Doors open. People show up. Everything aligns. Not because you earned it, because you claimed it. Because you declared your intention to the universe, and the universe responded with, "Finally, we've been waiting for you to be ready." Other chosen ones around the world are awakening simultaneously. You're part of a global network of consciousness that's activating according to divine timing. When you connect with these individuals, either physically or energetically, your combined power multiplies exponentially. The secret societies know this and work constantly to keep awakened beings isolated from each other. They understand that two awakened chosen ones together are exponentially more powerful than two individuals. 3 create a power surge, 4 create a vortex, 10 create a reality shift, 100 create a new timeline. This is why they've worked so hard to keep you alone, to make you think you're the only one, to convince you that nobody else understands, because if chosen ones ever united, their entire system would collapse overnight. Well, the isolation is ending, the network is activating, and you're about to discover you're not alone. You never were. Ancient wisdom keepers, indigenous elders, certain spiritual teachers who have maintained connection to authentic tradition, these are your guides and mentors. They've been preserving the knowledge you need to fully develop your abilities. They've been waiting for chosen ones like you to emerge so they could pass on what they've protected. The real teachings aren't in books or courses. They're held in oral traditions by people who have maintained their connection to Source despite centuries of suppression. These are the ones who can help you refine your gifts, not by teaching you something new, but by reminding you of what you already know, not by giving you power, but by showing you how to access what's already yours, not by making you dependent on their wisdom, but by activating your ability to access wisdom directly. Find these teachers, not online, not through marketing, through resonance, through synchronicity, through the feeling in your body that says this one knows, this one remembers, this one can help me remember too. Your soul remembers lifetimes of spiritual mastery, past incarnations where you wielded power that could reshape kingdoms and heal nations. The abilities emerging within you now aren't new developments, but ancient skills being restored to your consciousness. Memories of temple training, mystery school initiations, and sacred ceremonies are surfacing in dreams and meditation. You're not learning these gifts for the first time. You're remembering what you've always known. This is why certain abilities come so naturally to you. Why certain knowledge feels familiar, even though you've never studied it. Why certain practices feel like home, even though you've never done them before. You've done all of this before, in Egypt, in Atlantis, in Lemuria, in civilizations that have been erased from history books because their existence would prove that humans once operated at levels of consciousness that make modern society look primitive. You were there, you were powerful, and you're bringing that power back online now. Star family connections are strengthening as your frequency rises. Beings from other star systems who have been guiding Earth's evolution recognize you as one of their Earth-stationed operatives. The longing you've always felt for home makes sense now. You're remembering your cosmic origins and your agreement to incarnate here during this pivotal time in planetary history. You're not from here. Not originally. You came here on assignment. You volunteered for this mission knowing it would be difficult, knowing you would forget who you are, knowing you would face attacks and suppression. But you also knew that at the right time, you would remember. And when you remembered, you would be unstoppable. That time is now. Your star family is reaching out to you through dreams, through meditation, through direct downloads of information. They're saying, welcome back. We've been waiting. Your mission is about to begin in earnest. And everything you've been through was preparation for what comes next. No government, no organization, no authority figure has any right to limit your spiritual development or expression. Your connection to the divine is direct and personal. You don't need anyone's permission to use your gifts, develop your abilities, or fulfill your mission. You are a sovereign being with inherent rights that supersede any human-created law or regulation. Divine law operates on higher principles than human legislation. Your spiritual sovereignty is guaranteed by cosmic law written into the fabric of creation itself. Free will, the right to spiritual evolution, and direct communion with the divine are unalienable gifts from the Creator. No earthly authority can revoke what was granted by infinite intelligence before any government existed. They can threaten you. They can try to intimidate you. They can attempt to make you comply. But they have no actual authority over your consciousness. None. And the moment you fully understand this, their entire power structure becomes exposed as the illusion it always was. Natural law recognizes your authority over your own consciousness and energy field. The same principles that govern planetary motion and cellular regeneration also protect your right to spiritual self-determination. You don't need certificates, licenses, or institutional approval to heal, to channel, to manifest, or to access higher dimensional guidance. Your abilities are not privileges granted by human institutions, but birthrights encoded in your spiritual DNA. The Constitution and similar documents around the world were written by people who understood spiritual law. Freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. These aren't just political concepts. They're recognition of your divine right to operate according to your highest understanding. No one can legally prevent you from practicing your spirituality or developing your consciousness, and any attempt to do so violates not just human law, but cosmic law. You stand on ground that's protected by forces far more powerful than any human government. They'll try to pathologize your experiences. They'll claim that psychic abilities are mental illness, that spiritual awakening is psychosis, that your connection to higher dimensions is delusional. But you know the difference between expansion and insanity. You know the difference between divine guidance and mental chatter. You know the difference between true vision and fantasy. Your inner authority is absolute in spiritual matters. No expert, no scientist, no religious leader knows more about your direct experience than you do. Trust your inner knowing above all external voices. Your consciousness is your domain, and no one has the right to colonize it with their beliefs, limitations, or fears. They'll try to make you doubt yourself. They'll use medical terminology and psychological diagnoses to convince you that your gifts are symptoms. But you're not sick. You're awakening. And awakening looks like insanity to people who are still asleep. Let them think what they want. You don't need their validation. You don't require their approval. You operate from a higher authority now. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something. But talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. The beauty is you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today, join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks, and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Own your power without apology. You don't owe anyone explanations for your gifts, your experiences, or your choices. You don't need to convince anyone that what you're experiencing is real. You don't need to tone down your light to make others comfortable. You are here to shine at full intensity. You're not here to save everyone. You're not here to force awakening on people who aren't ready. You're here to embody your truth and share it with those prepared to receive it. Your job is to be a beacon, not a bulldozer. Your mission is to embody possibility, not to convince anyone of anything. And the beautiful part is that by simply being yourself at full power, you accomplish more than you ever could through effort or persuasion. People feel your energy and something in them shifts, not because you told them to, because your frequency reminds them of their own potential, because your example shows them what's possible, because your presence creates a permission field where others can finally be themselves too. The secret societies have been waiting for your rise because they know that once you're fully activated, there's no going back. Not for you, not for humanity, not for the planet. The age of deception is ending, and the age of truth is beginning. You are both witness to and creator of this transformation. Welcome to your true power, chosen one. The universe has been waiting for you to remember who you are. And now that you've remembered, now that you've awakened, now that you've claimed your throne, the real work begins. Not the work of struggle, the work of conscious creation, not the work of effort, the work of alignment, not the work of fighting against what you don't want, the work of building what you do want. You came here for this. You volunteered for this mission. You knew it would be difficult, but you also knew that when you finally remembered your power, when you finally stepped into your role, when you finally activated completely, you would change everything. And that's exactly what you're doing, right now, in this moment, with every breath, with every choice, with every thought. You're not just waking up, you're waking everyone up. And the sleeping giant they've feared for centuries is finally fully, completely